Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the commissionees, official party, and remain standing for the invocation and playing of the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and honored members of our armed forces, we gather here today to mark a significant milestone in the lives of our dedicated servicemen and women. As we stand on the threshold of commissioning these brave individuals into the ranks of our esteemed military, let us bow our heads in reverence and unity. Almighty and gracious one, we invoke your presence among us as we embark on this solemn occasion. Bless these courageous souls who have answered the call of duty with unwavering commitment and selflessness. Grant them the strength to uphold these values of honor, integrity, and valor as they embark on their noble journey of service to our nation. May they find wisdom in their decisions, courage in the face of adversity, and compassion in their hearts as they lead with honor and distinction. Guide their footsteps in the path of righteousness, and may they always strive to protect and defend the freedoms we hold dear. As we bestow upon them the responsibility of leadership, may they embrace it with humility and determination, knowing that they carry the hopes and dreams of a grateful nation upon their shoulders. Bless the ceremony with your divine presence, and may it serve as a beacon of inspiration to all who witness it. May we always remember the sacrifices made by those who have gone before us, and may we honor their legacy by carrying forth the torch of liberty and unwavering resolve. In your name we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good morning and welcome to Hofstra University Army ROTC's Spring 2024 commissioning ceremony. Today's special guests are Major General Lawrence Ferguson, Commander of the 1st Special Forces Command, Command Sergeant Major David Waldo, Command Sergeant Major of the 1st Special Forces Command, and Dr. Susan Poser, President of Hofstra University, university faculty and staff, cadets, family and friends of the Culper Battalion. On behalf of Hofstra University Army ROTC's cadre, I thank you for coming to today's ceremony. Today marks a a truly significant event in the lives of these 6 cadets who today will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army. They have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of excellence as warrior leaders and have answered the call to stand and defend the most sacred value held by American citizens, freedom. Over the past 4 years, they have trained hard, been tested, and have proven they are ready to lead soldiers as commissioned officers in today's trying time. In a moment, they will join a long, distinguished line of American military leaders and take their place as standard bearers before the soldiers they are soon to lead. Hofstra University was founded in 1935 as Long Island's first coeducational and private non-affiliated liberal arts college, located here in Hempstead, New York. The Army Reserve Officer Training Corps Battalion, currently named the Culper Battalion, has produced Army leaders on campus since 1951. There are currently 70 cadets enrolled in this voluntary program, which includes the host school, Hofstra University, an extension school, Stony Brook University, and 8 crosstown colleges and universities to include Adelphi University, Farmingdale State College, Malloy University, Nassau Community College, Old Westbury, LIU, Suffolk Community College, and St. Joseph's University. The program stresses leadership traits, military tactics, and physical fitness for all cadets to commission highly competent officers. Over the past 65 years, many Hofstra Army ROTC alumni have served their country with honor and distinction during times of both peace and war. The Culper Battalion and ROTC program at Hofstra University are proud to be a part of our nation's defense. At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage Lieutenant Colonel Hong Lee, the Professor of Military Science here at Hofstra University.
All right, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Poser, General Ferguson, honored guests, Hofstra faculty and staff, cadre and friends of the Culper Battalion. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to this very special day, our 2024 Spring Commissioning Ceremony. We are gathered here today to celebrate the achievements of these 6 exceptional individuals who have dedicated themselves to serving our great nation. The commissioning of a military officer is a momentous occasion, marking the transition from student to leader. It signifies the commitment that the Army makes with the individual and the level of trust conferred. No more is the individual being led. They are now expected to lead. They are expected to lead and lead well. If I can just speak to my commissionees for a quick second, I want to tell you how proud I am. Having arrived back in April of 23, this is the first class that I've taught. For better or for worse, you guys stuck with me, and I hope that I've taught lessons to you guys that you guys can live by. And I hope that those experiences that I've shared will lead you to having much better ones than I have. You have all displayed remarkable commitment, discipline, and perseverance through your training. The path that you have chosen is one of great sacrifice, but also of great discipline and pride and nobility. You are joining the ranks of the finest military force in the world, entrusted with the sacred duty of defending our country, our values, and our very way of life. The gold bars that you receive today symbolize not only your new rank, but also the tremendous responsibility that you are going to undertake. You will be called to make difficult decisions, to lead with courage and integrity, but most importantly, to inspire those under your command. As you embark on this new chapter, remember the values that have guided you thus far: honor, loyalty, and the steadfast commitment to service. One thing I always want to do is recognize the family, friends, and loved ones here today. As I've said multiple times prior to, these Army events aren't just for the awardees. It is as much for the families, friends, and loved ones as it is for them. They have sacrificed so much for these 6 stellar individuals to make this rank this morning. We as a society can't do anything by ourselves, so we are very appreciative. Commissioning ceremonies are no different. This cannot be done. These cadets cannot stand before you today if it wasn't for the love, the sacrifice, a lot of times the laundry that you guys did for these kids. All right? So family, friends, and loved ones, your unwavering support has been instrumental in the success of these commissioning officers, and they have not gone unnoticed. So I personally want to thank you for your dedication to the nation's greatest treasure, which is our soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, It is with great pride that we welcome these exceptional individuals into the Officer Corps. May their service be marked with honor, valor, and a deep sense of duty to the nation. Thank you, and congratulations to our newest officers. At this time, we would like to call to the stage Dr. Susan Poser. Susan Poser is the 9th president of Hofstra University. She assumed the office of the president on August 1st, 2021. Prior to joining Hofstra, Dr. Poser served for 5.5 years as the provost and vice chancellor for academic affairs at the University of Illinois, Chicago. Please welcome Dr. Susan Poser.
Thank you, Colonel Lee. Well, good morning. It's a privilege to be here with you to celebrate and honor the commissioning class of 2024. It's a relatively small class for us, and that's because this was the high school class of 2020, and probably your first graduation, right? And so it makes the day extra special for them and for the families. And to the families, I want to thank you for being here. And again, as was already said, thank you for everything you've done to support these cadets in their journey. I would also like to ask the cadets and their families and friends to join me in thanking the entire cadre and staff who helped get you where you are sitting today by teaching you and supporting you in myriad ways. Can we give them a round of applause? I also want to welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Major General Lawrence Ferguson. We're honored to welcome you to Hofstra and look forward to your comments. Your insight and expertise will surely be invaluable for this commissioning class. Hofstra University is very proud of its long tradition with the Hofstra ROTC Culper Battalion, which is the host school, as you heard, from students from colleges and universities all over Long Island. To those being commissioned today, the fact that you have succeeded in getting to this pivotal moment shows a deep level of commitment, resiliency, determination, and of course, patriotism. You've accomplished important milestones, including field training exercises and cadet summer training, while earning undergraduate degrees. All of these experiences will serve you well as you go forward. After years of training as newly commissioned officers in the United States Army, you will now be part of a long legacy of America's leaders who've proudly defended and served our country. As our world becomes increasingly complex with long-standing and emerging challenges, we need Americans like you who chose the path of service and leadership. And you're now very well equipped with this college degree and all you've learned here and experienced in the Culper Battalion at Hofstra to transition to the next stage of your life and of service. And I speak for the whole university and surely for all of the universities represented here by you in expressing my pride in your accomplishment and my admiration and gratitude for the path that you have all chosen. I wish you the best for your futures and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Poser. At this time, we'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Major General Lawrence Ferguson. Upon graduating from the U.S. Air Force Academy, Major General Ferguson commissioned as an infantry officer and served in the 3rd 502nd Infantry Regiment in the 101 Airborne. He later served in a variety of positions in the U.S. Army Special Forces Command, Special Operations Command, and later commanded the 10th Special Forces Group. Please take time to read the rest of General Ferguson's full bio in your programs. Please welcome General Ferguson to the stage.
Yeah, my bio will be helpful when if you're having trouble sleeping later. So, by all means, if you're an insomniac, read my bio. So, ma'am, first of all, appreciate your comments and you touched on a few points that I'm gonna make later. But you also threw down the gauntlet for me as far as the value of the comments that I'm gonna make. So, the 3 cardinal rules of public speaking are be brief, be brilliant, and be gone. You'll get 2 out of those 3. I'll let you figure out which 2 you get out of those 3. So first of all, I'm very, very honored to be here. I really appreciate Justin inviting me to come do this. Justin and I served together for about 3 months or so in Iraq 2 years ago. Then he left me, and I was there 10 more months after he left. He had done 10 months already, so he did about 13 months, and then I did a 13 months there. But we had some overlap, and it was great working with him, and I appreciate the opportunity. So let me start off first and just say to everybody, good morning, welcome, thank you all for being here. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Again, thanks to Colonel Lee and the rest of the team here for inviting me. And Dr. Poser, I appreciate your remarks, and I really do sincerely appreciate what you said, and I think you'll see that in some of the things that I'm going to mention here shortly. So I also want to, and Colonel Lee referenced families already. This is, and I hope through my comments and even after we can talk a little bit, but I hope that you understand how important it is for us, for DW, the CSM who's here with me, and I, to communicate to you as much as we are to your lieutenants that are about to join. This is a family business. I'm not some guy in a uniform standing up on a stage who does this because it's what fits me. I've been married 30 years, coming up in our 30th anniversary is in 2 weeks. It's May 28th. We have 3 sons. One of them is a second lieutenant in the 82nd Airborne Division. The second son is going to be a lieutenant in about 13 months and will probably end up in the 82nd Airborne Division, which would be great. So we are deeply invested in this, and this is not a theoretical profession or pursuit for us. We've been doing this for a long time. All 3 of my boys grew up during 20 years of me deploying to combat and everything that goes along with that. So this is serious business for us, and I want the families to understand just how truly thankful we are that you are supporting your kids who are about to join the Army and go do great things in service to America. It's vitally, vitally important. So with that was a little off script, but I wanted to emphasize that a little bit, and then let me get into where I want to go, and we'll circle back to that. And then by all means, I'm happy to follow up with anybody, answer any questions about, oh my gosh, what's our kid about to get into? That kind of thing. For you, what am I about to get into? At this point, we've probably seen just about all of it. I don't know that there's anything that you could ask us that's going to surprise us that we won't have some sort of answer for. So with that, congratulations again to our recent grads and the Army's newest officers. Colonel Lee talked about you hanging in there with him. You've hung in there through all of it. The COVID aspect of this, Dr. Poser and I were chit-chatting about at the beginning, was actually really informative for me. But you're about to join the 1%, and I don't know if you guys are very familiar with that, but 1%, around 1% of the population of the United States, that's the number of people that serve. It's a very, very small number. You guys are all about to join that. And so families, I appreciate your service there. You should be proud, and parents, you should be proud of your graduates. But here's where I really want to go with my remarks. I asked myself, hey, what do I wish somebody had told me when I was a second lieutenant? So now I'm really going to start focusing on you guys and what I wish someone had talked to me about, because I know you got a bunch of questions. I'm not going to answer them all today, but I'm going to give you a few little hints. So as you all depart for your initial training in your primary officer leadership courses, you'll spend months learning the basics of your profession. Here's the first thing I would tell you. Number 1, no one expects you to know everything. You'll undergo some intense training over the course of the next few months, and you'll want to be as good as you can when you arrive at your unit. But everyone recognizes that you're new, and at least in most cases, and I think in all of these cases, you were prior enlisted? Yeah. You're the only one that's got any experience, and it's about this deep, right? That's okay, and that's my point. Everyone recognizes that you're new and inexperienced, and experience takes time. There's no way to replace that. Neither you nor your neither your soldiers nor your commanders will expect you to have all the answers, okay? So what do they expect? I'll focus on a few specifics that I hope will be helpful to you. First, they want you to continue to listen and learn. Your non-commissioned officers and soldiers will have what you don't: experience. They'll know the ins and outs of your profession in a way that you cannot possibly know, and they'll be watching closely to see how willing you are to learn, to listen and to learn both from them and from your mistakes, which you're going to make. When you show them that you're willing to learn from them, when you're willing to own your mistakes, they will notice. When they see you soliciting and respecting their input, then incorporating it into your plans when you can, then you'll be on the road to building a successful team. So that's number one. Number two, they'll want to know that you care about them, and I will let you in on a little secret. The only way to convince your people that you care about them is to actually care about them. If you don't care about your people, you will struggle and you will ultimately fail. You cannot fake it. If the people you work with are just that, people you work with, not people you personally care about, you will struggle. Caring about your people will take personal investment, sacrificing your personal time, going through the barracks before and after hours and on weekends, not to inspect, but just to talk to people, to check on them, to get to know them, to understand what they're going through. You can't solve all their problems, but they will respect you for listening and for caring. You'll also get to know them better and will build a more cohesive team. The third thing that I would tell you is that they expect you to lead. You're responsible for your unit. You are. Good or bad, success or failure, you own it. Full stop. This may sound somewhat contradictory to my first point, but it isn't. Your soldiers won't expect you to know everything, but they will expect you to make decisions and own those decisions. They want to help you make your decisions, but ultimately, you're responsible, not them. You own the decision and the consequences. They want to see a leader who understands and embraces that concept. Fourth point, never forget that the Army's most precious resource is not our technology, it's not our firepower, it's not our advanced combat platforms, it's our people. You have to take care of them. They deserve it, they're counting on it, and so are their parents. In the same way that your parents are counting on folks like us to take care of you. The fastest way for us to lose faith with the American people is for parents to think their children will not be taken care of in the Army. This does not mean that you coddle your soldiers. The Army never meant that with the phrase people first. Your soldiers will need tough, realistic training and must be held to standards of fitness, training, and good order and discipline. Many juniors don't understand this point, but by enforcing standards when incorporated into a leadership environment that I've already described, that further demonstrates that you care about your soldiers. Believe me, when it's time for you to send them into harm's way, they will understand. The importance of inculcating a culture of fitness, training, standards, and accountability will make complete sense to your formation when the going gets tough and lives are at stake. All right, 2 final points. And Dr. Poser already mentioned this. We live in a dangerous world, and frankly, it's getting increasingly dangerous. All right? Do not forget that. That is why it is so important for you to understand what really is the underlying currency of the officer corps, and that is the concept of risk. You've got to appreciate and understand risk. You have to make a career-long study of risk. You've got to be an expert on your unit's capabilities, the training level and conditions on the ground, as well as from the perspective of our enemies. Only then will you be able to assess risk appropriately, mitigate it appropriately, and then make decisions that will allow your unit to succeed and the Army to fight and win. Lastly, this isn't only about you and your unit. You have a boss and subordinates, but you also have peers. You should learn from them, and they should learn from you. They are your teammates, not your competition. It won't always be easy, but never forget, at some point in the not-so-distant future, you may be relying on your peers and their units to keep you alive. All right, I'm going to go a little bit off script here, and I'm going to plagiarize from something I heard earlier this week. So at risk of being sanctioned an academic institution, I will cite my source. It's General Miller, who was the commander in Afghanistan, and I was at a function earlier this week where he made reference after the national anthem was played. And all I want to say is this. Go back and look at the words to the national anthem. And you remember, we didn't sing it this morning, but we're all used to the words. We hear the national anthem played frequently. But the very first line is a question. Oh, say, can you see? Think back to when the national anthem was written. When Francis Scott Key penned those words before it became the national anthem, he penned those words during the British attack during the War of 1812 on Fort McHenry. And the question was, oh, say, can you see? And what was he talking about? Can you see the flag? Was the flag still there? Your job is to answer that question, to make sure that throughout your career, when anybody asks that question, the flag's still there. Okay, congratulations. It's going to be a great journey. You should be proud. I'm looking forward to the rest of the ceremony. Thanks for having me. Thank you, parents, for everything you've done and for supporting your kids, and continue to support them in this career. Thank you.
Thank you, General Ferguson, for those kind remarks, for those words of wisdom. In a few minutes, these cadets will take the oath of office, pin on their rank, and perform their first salute. At any point of the ceremony, please feel free to move forward and take pictures. The custom of military oaths date back to ancient Rome, where soldiers would pledge their loyalty to a specific general for a specific campaign. By 100 BC, Rome had established a professional military, and with it, an oath that covered a soldier's entire career. The first oath under the Constitution was approved by an act of Congress on September 29th, 1789, and had undergone several modifications until the current version was adopted in 1959. In the United States Armed Forces today, officers take a solemn oath to the Constitution, the document that is the foundation of American freedom. This oath pledges the officer to support and defend freedom from all enemies and is the foundation of the profession upon which they are about to enter. This version of the oath can be found in your program. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise while Major Jordan Puryear administers the oath.
I, R.J. Elvis Wilco, having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States, in the grade of second lieutenant, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Please join us in a round of applause for the new Commissioned Second Lieutenants. Please take your seats. It is an honored tradition that a newly commissioned second lieutenant proudly hands a silver dollar to the first enlisted soldier who salutes them. Authorized by Congress on April 2nd, 1792, the silver dollar traditionally is the only coin given in exchange for the first salute. Soon-to-be second lieutenants go to great lengths to secure these silver dollars. The silver dollar coin represents more than its currency value. To every new officer, it has a special significance. It represents the symbolic receipt of respect due to the newly earned rank and position. It signifies a deep sense of gratitude to the new officer for the knowledge enlisted soldiers, especially non-commissioned officers, have passed on to them during their training. It's an acknowledgement from one professional soldier to another saying, "Welcome to our service and the profession of arms." At this time, we will now individually recognize lieutenants with a rank pinning ceremony, first salute, and presentation of a commissioning certificate. Second Lieutenant Brian Clark. If your rank pinners, parents. Second Lieutenant Brian Clark earned a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice at Malloy University and will serve on active duty as an Adjutant General Officer, Branch Detailed Armor. Lieutenant Clark will have his rank pinned on him by his parents, Lorena and Kenneth Clark. He places the honor of the first salute upon Sergeant Maurice Moore. Lieutenant Clark will now be presented with a commissioning certificate. Second Lieutenant Jacob Gilmartin. Second Lieutenant Jacob Gilmartin earned a Bachelor of Science in Nursing at Stony Brook University and will serve on active duty as a nurse. Lieutenant Gilmartin will have his rank pinned on him by his parents, Vincent and Eileen Gilmartin. He places the honor of the first salute upon Staff Sergeant Ariana Briest. Lieutenant Gilmartin will now be presented with a commissioning certificate and a Distinguished Military Student Award. This award is earned by graduates that rank among the top third of their graduating class. Second Lieutenant Scott Morset. Second Lieutenant Scott Morset earned a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Law Enforcement Technology at Farmingdale State College and will serve on active duty as an aviation officer. Lieutenant Morset will have his ring pinned on him by his parents, Randy and Helen Morset, and sister, Victoria Morset. He places the honor of the first salute upon his father, Machinist Mate 3rd Class, Randy Morset. Lieutenant Morset will now be presented with a commissioning certificate and a Distinguished Military Student Award. This award is earned by graduates that rank among the top third of their graduating class. Second Lieutenant Riley Muick. Second Lieutenant Riley Muick earned a Bachelor of Science in Applied Economics at Farmingdale State College and will serve on active duty as a signal officer. Lieutenant Morset will have his ring pinned on him by his parents, Amy and Andrew Muick. He places the honor of the first salute upon Staff Sergeant Sung Choi. Lieutenant Muick will now be presented with a commissioning certificate and a Distinguished Military Student Award. This award is earned by graduates that rank among the top third of their graduating class. Second Lieutenant Alexandra Sacraponte. Second Lieutenant Alexandra Sacraponte earned a Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science at Adelphi University and will serve on active duty as an aviation officer. Lieutenant Sacraponte will have her ring pinned on her by her parents, Elizabeth and Mark Sacraponte, and brother Andrew Sacraponte. She places the honor of the first salute upon Staff Sergeant Sung Choi. Lieutenant Sacripante will now be presented with a commissioning certificate and a Distinguished Military Graduate Award. This award is earned by graduates that rank among the top 10% of all cadets in their year group. Second Lieutenant R.J. Wilco. Second Lieutenant R.J. Wilco earned a Bachelor's of Arts in History from St. Joseph's University and will serve on active duty as a chemical officer. Lieutenant Wilco will have his rank pinned on him by his parents, Robert and Melissa Wilco. He places the honor of the first salute upon Sergeant First Class Justin Seiler. Lieutenant Wilco will now be presented with a commissioning certificate.
All right, so I was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, the same place that Elvis Presley was born. And so when you go down to Fort Johnson, you're Elvis. Congrats. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the Hofstra University Army ROTC class of 2024 and the newest second lieutenants in the United States Army. To conclude the ceremony, we ask that you rise or remain standing for the singing of the Army song.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Thank you for attending today's ceremony. We invite you to join us here for a reception to congratulate the newest second lieutenants as we welcome them into the Army. Lieutenants, congratulations once again. God bless and good luck to you all in your futures. That's it. Dismissed. Here we go, here we go. This is yours.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, once you open the door, it was locked. Locked back in the entire